Hey everyone, Adam here. As promised, it's Monday. It's a little later than I wanted to have this video posted, so I do apologize for that. I'm going to try to get it first thing Monday morning or late Sunday night, but it is Season 9, Week 7 for LFM. Sprint this week is at Misano. As promised, I'm going to share the setup that I've done for it. It's not the pointiest of setups for the Porsche, so your lap times aren't going to be blazing fast. If you're already running near top split times, you're going to find that this setup's a little understeery. If you're like me and you're a little off the pace and you're okay with that, you'd rather be safe and finish the race than be right on the bleeding edge of speed. I think you might like this setup. Just let me know in the comments below if you are a Porsche driver in ACC what you thought of this setup. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to walk through. I don't have Google Drive set up for ACC setups just yet, so this video, unfortunately, you're going to have to bear with me and just kind of follow through as I walk on screen real quick. I'm going to go quick, so just pause the video when I get to each setup menu screen if you want to copy these settings over, and then hopefully by next week I'll get Google Drive all sorted so I can start sharing ACC setups there, or maybe by next week I'll open a Discord and I'll just post things there and we'll... Anyway, all right, let's get on. Enough rambling. Okay, so let's take a look at the set. So I did set these tire temps in 27C. So if you look up across the top here, you'll see setup Misano version 3.1. Tried a lot of stuff here to get the Porsche to be really balanced. 1.8.21, which is the current ACC build, R for race. I don't have a quality setup just yet. I'm still working on that in 27C, which is the track temps that I used for setting tire pressures. So this way, you know, if you jump into a session and you don't have 27C, adjust the pressures accordingly. Now, I have found Misano to be very brutal on the left-hand tires, but at the same time, I struggle to keep the temperatures high in the left-hand tires, or at least within that optimal range. So you might have to run some laps and kind of play around with the tire settings. But most of this is pretty straightforward. You might want to play and tweak with a few things depending on your driving style. Again, everybody's using different equipment. I'm racing in VR using my Grid Engineering MPX wheel connected to a SimuCube 2 Pro and Velasquez Engineering pedals. So chances are you're not going to have the same setup I am. So you might want to have a few changes. You might be a little smoother on throttle than I am, or maybe not. So you might want to take a look at the TC and ABS. Right now I'm running 3 and 5. That seems to help me get off the corner a little more consistently. I am getting into the traction control more than I would like. That's just because my right foot is not as smooth as I would like it to be. Engine map, of course, for the Porsche is on 8 where it needs to be. Fuel is already set at 47 liters. Should be enough for a 25-minute sprint race. Unless somehow you're burning through more fuel than I am. You know, just take a look, run a few test laps, run some calculations yourself. Don't just jump in and go with this fuel setting. Just make sure it's going to be enough for you to get to the end. You may be better on fuel than I am, and you can probably run a few liters less and save a little weight. Front roll bar is on 1. Brake bias a little further forward than it probably needs to be, but that last little sector, that fast right hand corner where you got to jump on the brakes and downshift into 4th gear, I'm not going to do a track guide, but I will link my favorite track guide for Misano down in the description below. Rear roll bar at 0. Now there's a couple of things that you can do with this set if you want it to be a little more pointy. Either A, adjust the rear roll bar up to 1. I would not recommend going any higher than that. I struggled with kind of mid-corner over rotation with the roll bar up at 2, but I liked it at 0. It made the car feel really balanced. The other thing you can do, leave the dampers here where I've got them. I know this seems like a strange setting, 7.1 on all 4 corners, but the car feels really balanced with just a hint of understeer that I kind of like. But if you don't want to go with the adjusting the roll bar up to 1 on the back, take a look at the aero balance. I'm running 11 wing. All the other sets I've seen for Misano this week are at 12. and they have the rear kind of jacked up a little higher to kind of keep that front downforce on the Porsche as well. The Porsche is very sensitive to pitch, I have found. So if the rear roll bar isn't going to work for you and you want the car to rotate a little more on corner entry and mid corner, what I would do is I would take the ride height up to 76 and then maybe increase the wing. Heck, you could even go as high as 79. But I'm liking it at 74 with 11 wing. So there you go. That's my Misano set for LFM Season 9, Week 7. I have to make sure I get that right. Hopefully this set works for you. Try it out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I am not a top split driver, number one. I am not anywhere near the best at creating setups for the Porsche in ACC, but I am really good at creating setups that work for me and my driving style. I've gone through all the data in Motec to find out what works best for me and what works best for this car and this track combination. So feel free, copy these settings, test it out. Please let me know in the comments below what you think. Maybe there's something I'm missing with this setup that you have found that works better, and I'll try it out myself. I found last week at Imola, I constantly was tweaking the setup every day. I was finding something, a minor tweak that I wanted to change, and I might find the same this week at Misano as the week goes on. I might make a few changes here or there depending on how the car behaves over the full 25-minute race. I have tested this set for a 25-minute practice stint at Misano, but it's not in the heat of battle with a bunch of other cars on the track. So, of course, things are different, and really the only way to test a race setup is in a race. So there you go. So remember, just be cool to each other out there, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks.